Good morning. Welcome to Exiles TV. Glad to be back with you. I'm Bill Profita, along with my partner, Kevin Gallagher.
That's me.
Very glad to be back here, as a matter of fact.
I'm glad to see you, man. I made a prediction on this program last Thursday that you were going to be COVID-19 negative and that you would be back.
Got the word yesterday morning. Ironed my necktie. But, you know, it was an interesting experience, and we'll talk a little bit about it here.
Yeah, I want to hear all about it. Testing, et cetera, et cetera.
But it was nice to know that apparently it was just a really, really, really nasty ear infection that put me down.
You don't even think that could cause a fever, but they certainly can.
Well, I mean, it really did. We'll tell you a little bit about the whole process, though, and the healthcare workers that I encountered, and they were just completely good at what they did and completely good at relieving your stress in that situation.
Oh, these people are without a doubt the absolute heroes of this thing.
Yeah, they're doing a hell of a job. But we have got coming on with us later on in the program today, Mike Manning. Mike Manning is the president and the CEO of the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. They serve a 9-parish area, and they are getting to critical shortages.
It's bottoming out at the food bank.
Very,
and it's because
very low.
we're all so caught up in staying at home and staying away from one another that maybe some of the giving that we normally do, we don't think about ways we can do that without having contact. We're going to talk with Mike. Yes, you can, if you've got the bucks to spare. There's ways to help out the food bank without touching a soul or coming within 6 feet of anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're going to a grocery store, I mean, we all have to eat, right?
Yep.
Pretty much every grocery store in the 9-parish area has the prepackaged $10 food bags for the food bank.
Mm-hmm. Or they do a simple, would you like to add $1, $3, $5?
Yeah.
You have that option when you ring up your groceries.
But again, you've got kids now that had been being fed at school under the federal programs. They are not. Some of the school systems tried to do the to-go lunches and meals for them for the first couple weeks of this, and they are unable to do that. You have also got people that are away from their paycheck, hourly workers.
Yes.
And while they've gotten some additional SNAP benefits, they're still, having trouble making ends meet in terms of the food budget at home. And face it, when you're at home all day, you and the kids, you're eating more. What was that sign you talked about that somebody posted?
You've probably seen this. Some of your Facebook friends have probably shared this, but someone made a sign and they taped it up inside their refrigerator. And it says, "You're not hungry, you're just bored, shut the damn door."
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm
thirsty all the time. I don't know what that is. I'm drinking lots and lots of water, but I also am having like cravings. It's like I want apple juice, or I want a Coke, or I want they don't call it Carnation Instant Breakfast anymore. What do they call it? Something else. But
yeah, it's got a more
breakfast essentials. But still, I get a craving for that, and like in the middle of the day. So it's dangerous for me. I've probably, I had lost some weight going into this thing. Gained it all right back.
Have you? It doesn't look like you've gained it all.
Maybe not all, but I'd lost about 16 pounds, and I probably gained about 9. It's been terrible. And takeout food, God bless, I'm trying to do my bit, to help out the restaurants and keep them alive, and doing as much takeout as I can. But sometimes restaurant food is not the best thing for you if you're trying to keep yourself trim.
Probably not.
But God, it's good.
Yeah. I mean, there are some healthy choices in takeout from restaurants.
Sure, I never order them.
Me either. No. What would be the point? The thing that amazed me is Karen was going to bake some strawberry bread, and it requires like 3 or 4 eggs. And so we had to go to the store for some other things anyway. And right now, all you can buy at supermarkets are the restaurant packs. The open crate of 36 eggs.
Well, I got 18 the other day, but I couldn't get a dozen to save me. I couldn't do it.
Well, the thing is, I just happen to love eggs.
Me too.
So I will cook eggs for myself every morning. And a couple mornings a week, that's not such a bad thing.
every morning?
It's a bad thing.
Not so good.
It's a bad thing.
Coming up on our first break, the phone number, if you want to call us, 225-831-1029. Tell us what you're going through as you continue to shelter in place, practice social distancing. 14,867, that's the number of cases of COVID-19 in Louisiana reported as of noon yesterday. We're expecting new numbers at noon today. 512 deaths reported associated with COVID-19.
There are still two parishes that have no cases.
Isn't that interesting?
Cameron Parish. Mm-hmm. And then, is it Bienville? It's directly across the river from Vicksburg. What's the parish that's directly across from Vicksburg? Tensaw. They have no cases either, which is kind of amazing if you think about it.
It really is. What's behind that? Is it just that it's such a sparsely populated parish?
I really do think and that's probably a big part of it. But we'll go through some of the numbers, and if you got questions, we will answer them as best we can. 225-831-1029. Thanks for joining us this morning on Exiles TV. Right back.
Taste the feeling.
Guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hey, welcome back. Exiles TV here on Pelican Broadcasting. We thank you so much for spending some time with us. Don't forget that this program does repeat air 12 hours later at 10 o'clock tonight. This program will air again. You can also catch it on YouTube. Jonathan, our technical wizard, gets it up on YouTube not long after the program is finished. So you can go to the YouTube page, search Pelican Broadcasting. And you can also go to their web page, which is right there on the screen, pelicansportstv.com. You can stream it live from the web page or from the Pelican Sports TV app.
Yeah, now we're on all kinds of cable systems and ATT-Uverse, all over the southern part of the state. But you can stream it from your pocket device. Go to the App Store and get the app if you have an Apple device. I've got it. It works real easy. It was easy to sign up for. And you don't end up banging your mic when you do it like I just did.
We'll find a way. But I'm
getting ready to sing We Are the World here with this.
I'm drumming on the tabletop, though, and you can't hear it.
Who should I do, Daryl Hall or John Oates?
No, I want you to do, if you remember We Are the World, remember when Bruce Springsteen came over, We Are the World. It's like, okay, I've heard enough. Thank you.
I could have done that. I could have done that a week ago.
Take it away. I'll buy war bonds.
I can't do. I can't do it today. That has been so many years ago now.
Yikes. That was, and so, who was it that attempted it? Was it Wonder Woman? Gal Gadot that tried that?
Yeah.
Got a bunch of her Hollywood friends to sing Imagine and spliced it all together, just singing it into your cell phone. It's like, you are so tone deaf.
Yeah.
You people are so tone
You're
deaf.
not hearing.
Just stay home and leave us alone for a while.
Yeah. If you would like to join us, 225-831-1029. 225-831-1029. We welcome hearing from you and taking your calls. And if you've got comments, observations, questions, all of the above, we will be happy to entertain those. And I think we really want to know how you're doing with all this. Thankfully, it seems the biggest enemy right now is boredom.
I think boredom, and also I think that you're going to see some folks start to burn on a short fuse. Because as much as...
The hell are you talking about?
Yeah. As much as we may love each other, sometimes when you're 24/7 together and you get a little annoyed, you get a little irritated with one another.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt about that. I'm seeing a lot of tongue-in-cheek posts, kids for sale cheap, that kind of thing.
Looks like we have a call coming in. We're going to go to the phone in just a moment, and we invite you to call in at 831-1029. That's 225-831-1029, especially if you're in the healthcare profession. What are you going through? I mean, the healthcare workers are the front line on this thing, and the people we look to the most to be there for us and take the big risks themselves. Well, they're helping to keep us well. So let's go. Now, do I hit the speaker first or line first? Speaker first. Okay,
right.
So here we go.
Here we go.
Boom, and
No, you got to hit the line button. There you go.
there. I think, do we have a caller?
Hi, I'm Kelly, Avery. I'm a respiratory therapist.
Oh, hi, Kelly. How are you?
Fine. Scared.
Scared.
Fine myself at the moment.
A lot of us are scared. We're trying not to show it. So, you work in the healthcare industry. What do you do?
I'm a respiratory therapist.
Okay.
I deal directly with vets, ventilatory failure, people who have lung problems, this virus.
Kelly, you all have been called upon in greater force than I think in any time in American history. And we are hearing that one of your basic tools, one of the things you need the most, respirators are running out of supply. I saw a number yesterday that if we don't flatten the curve here in Baton Rouge, we're down to about 109 respirators, and that's just not going to get us through the next couple of weeks. You have any thoughts on that?
It's true. We're going through respirators at a horrible rate, but I'm a member of the Louisiana State Board of Medical Examiners. I have to for my licensure and stuff. And last Thursday or Friday, they put out the call that they are shipping in ventilators to this area, and they were asking people, because they're not completely put together, and they were asking the respiratory therapists who had knowledge of ventilators and how they go together, if you would volunteer to help and come put these together.
I see. Do you have enough RT staffing to cope with things for the next couple of weeks as it surges forward, or are you going to need some outside help?
It's rough out there. I have a lot of friends that are in the acute settings dealing with this virus directly, and they're being asked to sign up in 21 days now.
Kelly, let me ask you real quickly. Do you have us on speakerphone on your end, or are you talking into your phone?
I am talking into my phone. I don't have a phone on.
Kelly, you still with us?
Yeah, go ahead,
Is
Kelly.
it better?
Yes, that's
Oh,
better.
that's better.
Okay, sorry. I have a phone on in the room, and you were probably catching that.
So tell me what you can about because a lot of us don't know how these patients are presenting. I'm assuming that in your dealings you are seeing some COVID-19 patients. How bad is this for the patients themselves?
The majority of people who get this aren't bad. What we are seeing, though, are susceptible populations that when they get this virus, their respiratory situation deteriorates very quickly. You can go from just mildly depressed and having a little difficulty into complete respiratory failure within an hour or two sometimes. You'll be checked, we'll check on you, you're fine. We come back an hour later and we're intubated. They're intubated.
Wow.
Kelly, we've got a break coming up. I'd like to ask you before we get to that break. Inside, are you feeling a little light at the end of the tunnel?
Right now?
Yes.
No.
Interesting.
No. What I'm feeling right now, what most people who are in the field we're scared from our families. We're scared for the amount of people that are coming in.
Well,
Kelly, stay safe. I'm assuming that you have plenty of PPE for doing what you do. We thank you so very much for calling in.
Thanks, y'all. Spread the word.
Stay safe.
thank you, Kelly. Thank you for what you do.
Take care.
You know, I don't know if you've ever seen a respiratory therapist doing their job up close.
Well, I've never had to watch anybody be intubated, if
It's
that's
kind of a
true.
nasty job under the best of circumstances. We've got a break coming up. We'll be back with more on the Exiles. Stick around.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to greystonecountryclub.com.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Cantea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Cantea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Fruget Jr., and I am a general dentist at Fruget Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
This is Exiles TV. I'm Bill Profita. He's Kevin Gallagher.
Hi.
I know we had kind of a bad phone connection before the break with Kelly, but you know, this is a respiratory therapist that's working on the front lines. And a lot of people call them respiratory techs, and that's a misnomer. So I just want people to know, these people are degreed, they are licensed, they have certifications that they have to get, and they do some of the most meticulous work in medicine. So don't call them techs. They're respiratory therapists. They've earned that right.
And they know what they're doing. And in some of these cases, you know, as she said, though, most of the people that are in really bad shape, as we well know, they've already got something else that has severely compromised their immune system. Diabetes. Some of these people already had respiratory problems, and then they come down with COVID-19.
Well, you know, we're hearing, and if you remember, they warned us at the very beginning that this virus is really opportunistic on people that have underlying conditions. Well, now we are getting more morbidity and mortality information, and we can actually have a hot list. And diabetes, a lot of people that go in with COVID-19 that have diabetes do not come out. Then kidney disease, which goes along with hypertension,
right,
or hypertensive kidney disease. And then good old obesity. And what are we known for so well in a lot of these hotspot areas that have an awful lot of cases and an awful lot of fatalities?
Morbid obesity run rampant among our populace because we love to eat.
We love to eat, and exercise is something I'll get around to it later. And you know, it's a shame that someone who is, and I guess you can't say otherwise healthy because they're not, but otherwise living a fairly unimpeded life is going to lose it sitting at the end of a tube because they're carrying an extra 120 pounds that they don't need.
Yeah. Wow, 120 pounds is hard to imagine.
Well, you know,
but I do know some people that are just that bad off.
And I mean, they are also talking about the higher incidence of fatalities from this disease or complications from this disease in the African American community. And we are hearing from Mayor of New York, Mayor of Chicago. I think Mayor Broome is going to address that here today. And one of the things that the mayor of Chicago, who is an African American, pointed out, said, look, we have known for a long time about obesity, about hypertension, about heart disease, about chronic breathing difficulties. She said, but you also have to understand access to medical care and living conditions. A lot of these folks, particularly in the big, huge cities, they are living in high-rise buildings that have thousands of people, sometimes in their unit. They have 8 or 9 people. I mean, look at New Orleans and the lower Ninth. You had that generational thing that even though they were single-family dwellings,
you might have 3 generations.
You might have 3 generations.
In one shotgun house.
And think about what they told us about in France and Italy a week and a half ago. One of the reasons they spiked a high death rate so very, very quickly is because Italy and Spain have the highest incidence of multiple generations living together in one housing unit, whether it be a single farmhouse or an apartment building in a city. You got great-grandma, you got grandma, you got dad and mom, you got kids, you got aunts and uncles, nieces. This is the way the family living style, and in the case of the coronavirus, it has come to really be a danger factor.
I've been a little bit intrigued by some of the parishes in Louisiana that have high numbers other than Orleans. Like St. John. St. John Parish has one of the highest, per capita rates other than Orleans in the state.
Well, I think they were number 2 in the nation last week.
And what is behind that? Why are we seeing this in St. John of all places? Is it because they're a primary bedroom community, so to speak, for New Orleans, or what is it? Is it that they've been non-compliant and they continue to stay out and about and mix and commingle when they were asked not to?
Well,
What's the answer?
I think you start to pick all of those threads apart, and you see a lot of their employment is in large industry where the working groups are large and they're packed together. They also have in St. John a fairly good amount of poverty living, where again, you've got the very small, old houses where you've got 8 or 9 people living in one house. And you also have a population that I think very, very early on did not understand what social distancing really meant. You know, and I think St. James had a very high incidence because of that as well. And, you know, a lot of these folks, it's very hard for them to understand what compliance looks like in their life.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying. We talked about this last week with Leo Honeycutt, this attitude of, yeah, but that's me.
Yeah, but that's me.
See, what you're asking doesn't apply to me because it's me. So, you know, I'm not going to get, it's another thing. I don't understand people going, I'm not going to get the virus. It's like, what makes you say that? What makes you so certain that, you know, you're not at risk of picking this thing up? It's confusing to me, but I think you see a lot of people that have that, yeah, but that's me. You know, well, it's okay for me to get within 3 feet of you in the grocery store because I'm clean. You know, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
And again, we have a large population in South Louisiana. I'm frankly surprised Baton Rouge has done so well, considering the size of this city. You know, but we have a large population. It's like, I'm just going to go see my grandma for a minute. It's her birthday. Oh, and 25 of the nieces and nephews are coming too because, you know, it's grandma. And we're starting to see the reports of these birthday parties and things like that, where all of a sudden you get 5 or 6 people out of the 25 that were there that are falling out.
Yeah, we didn't leave the house.
That's the whole point. And you've got, they now have up the church service infection rate. And Missouri itself does not have an extremely high infection rate right now, but there was a church in St. Louis that had some sort of a pageant, and they decided not to cancel it. And now they had about 140 people at this pageant, and now I think they've got like 35 positive cases and the commensurate number hospitalized. You had a church that was having something similar across the river in Illinois, and they decided to cancel theirs, and they have so far no cases in their congregation. It's difficult. You know, you can't talk to everybody individually and tell them, well, you can do this, but you can't do that. You should do this, you shouldn't do that. It's very, very hard to do that.
There's another point, Bill, that I think is helping to spread this disease. If you're paying attention to social media, we have really notched up the stupid.
Oh, God, yeah.
We have really notched up the stupid. There are people that think that this whole thing is just a big conspiracy. And it's like, yeah, well, it's a conspiracy with people, you know, dead.
Yeah.
So if it's a conspiracy, it's the worst kind because the conspirators are willing to let people die in order to achieve whatever agenda. So I'm not buying into the conspiracy theory. Now, if you want to be a conspiracy theorist and think maybe they're taking advantage of this crisis in order to shape the narrative or whatever, you may get some talk out of me there, but you know, there's no virus. That's not this thing's just a big hoax. A hoax?
Yesterday, a former colleague who is in the business and lives in Colorado asked me to look at a piece of video. And it was this young woman, I'd say she's about 25, and she's all wide-eyed, and she's got a cheap microphone, and obviously she's being, you know, using a camera or something that's in a phone, and she's like hunkering down like a cartoon character, exposing the hoax of the coronavirus. And so she cuts in all of these scenes of, look at this major hospital waiting room, it's empty. And it's like, yeah, it's because they don't let you congregate in hospital waiting rooms anymore. You can't come and visit. You can't come and sell medical supplies. We talked to this paramedic. And he says, how many coronavirus cases have you seen? He gave the right answer. I don't know, because he doesn't do a diagnostic
But
out in the field.
I don't know is not a none.
Exactly. He's giving the proper medical and legal answer because he doesn't know if it's a coronavirus. And all of these...
He's a frontline healthcare provider. It's not his job to count.
Exactly. And you got all of these little things that she put in. Look at this COVID drive-through testing. It's empty.
I've seen several of those.
They are only allowed by safety protocols to operate 3 hours a day.
Right. And it's so easy to go there outside those 3 hours. Go, look, it's empty.
Yeah, because there's 21 other hours that you can go there. But that is a particular type of narcissistic psychosis that I will never understand. Is what these people think they're going to gain by doing all this fallacious BS. You know, the first question, if somebody says there's a conspiracy, my first question is always, who gains?
Right. Who gains? Who gains from this? Who gains from the economy shutting down? I don't know. In my imagination, I could say maybe this might skew against the incumbent president in the upcoming election.
I'll tell you who may gain the most, and particularly because they're probing like this aircraft carrier commander who wanted to do the right thing and did a little too much of the right thing.
Right.
You know, that's a strategic asset. You know, our enemies may gain something from this.
Going to take a quick break. How about people that are lying to help the virus? More on that coming up when we return. This is Exiles TV.
Taste the feeling.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back. Along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together. South Louisiana's talk team. And it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon right here on the Pelican.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
welcome back to Exiles TV. Glad to have you along with us. Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher with you until noon. There will be a replay, because once is never enough.
Of course
at
not.
10 o'clock tonight on these very same stations. And if you want to call in, comment, have a question, 225-831-1029 is the number. Kevin, during the break, you and I were kind of having a chuckle over all the postings now that are meant to be inflammatory and are really kind of specious, and I'm being kind with that.
The one girl that really took me by surprise, and I'm just going to classify her as an attention, can I say this? As an attention whore. She wants attention. You can tell by what she actually does for a living, but she was all over social media, Instagram, Facebook, with this video of her in hospital scrubs, and she's crying, and she's all broke down, and it's like sitting all in a hunch on the floor up against the wall, and she just quit her job at the ER because the ER slammed, and they didn't have any PPE. They were all being asked to treat COVID patients, and none of them had PPE because there wasn't enough, and it's just not the right kind of conditions, and she was forced to quit her job so she wouldn't get COVID-19. Somebody did a little research. She was an ER nurse. That much was true. She quit her job over a year ago, being an ER nurse, so she could become an Instagram model.
Well, no, Kevin, you're being
Her specialty is twerking on Instagram. She's a nice-looking gal, and she's, let's just say Sir Mix-a-Lot would like her. And her specialty is twerk videos on Instagram. But she hasn't been an ER nurse in over a year. And yet there she was. But she got her hits. She got the clicks.
She's a psychic ER nurse. She quit a year ago because she knew that was what was going to happen.
So, how irresponsible, though, to go on and put a video out there where she's saying that she's witnessing ER professionals not given proper protection, protective equipment, PPE, patient protection, protective equipment, to protect themselves from the patient from them. This is standard stuff, and I don't know of a single hospital that's not supplying this to their nurses and their other frontliners.
They were running low, and now they're getting resupplied. But, I mean, here's somebody who is on your television screen in the Baton Rouge area and in the New Orleans area quite frequently. His name is Lee Zurich.
Oh, the investigative reporter.
The investigative reporter. And he ran something last Friday. Now, it was accurate, but it was skewed. And it really made my blood boil because, we're getting reports of medical professionals without personal protective equipment, taking care on the front lines and on and on and on. Well, now, you would think he's talking about someplace where he's seen, right?
Right.
You talk about New Orleans or Baton Rouge, right?
Well, that's his beat. He covers New Orleans and Baton Rouge.
You would think that it would be contemporary to the time that the broadcast is airing, as in, like, I gathered this information yesterday and today, and I'm airing it tonight.
The last 48 hours, 72 hours even, right?
So he's got all these tweets he's putting up from healthcare professionals. Mm-hmm. I said, I've had to reuse this mask 8 times. I'm very frightened. And there were like 5 or 6 of these. Well, he forgot to mask the tweets. They were all from places like Wilmington, Delaware, Chicago.
So he just cooked up a story.
New York, and they were all dated 10 days prior when there was a real shortage, and they were very frightened.
Ooh.
So,
ruh-roh.
Now let me ask you this.
Somebody got some splaining to do.
Oh, no, he doesn't, because his management loves him.
Yes.
And they think, and they think you're supposed to churn up the pot instead of stepping back and saying, all right, this happened 10 days ago. We're going to see if it has improved, or we're going to compare it to what happened here in our area. These tweets were from thousands of miles away and 10 days prior.
See, what you just said is the way that should have been. This would have said, this is happening in Wilmington, this is happening, but is this happening in the greater New Orleans area or in Baton Rouge? To the best of our knowledge, no. That way you turn it upward, yay us, right? Mm-hmm. And it turns into a feel-good piece. The thing, and there's also this, and look, I'm not down on Lee Zurich. He's no Nakamoto, but he's okay. That was a joke. But
I think he's a putz, to tell you the truth.
There's no law that says you're an investigative reporter, but this is a time of crisis and we're off book here. You can be just a reporter. You don't have to continue to be the investigative reporter, the big muckraker, the scandal uncoverer. You can just go back to straight reporting temporarily.
But you know what, Kevin, and I'm not going to speak for you, I'm going to ask you. What I've gotten a real sense of is a couple of things. Number one, it's very hard for a station to fill a half-hour newscast right now.
When they're literally not supposed to talk about anything but this.
Well, and also there's nothing really new except the numbers every day to report on this, okay?
Right.
But I mean, crime is down, nobody's announcing a new business unit, things like that, okay? But what bothers me is I see some stations, and you can tell by the way they start the stand-up or the handoff to the reporter in the field. The handoff, by the way, is
stop that.
This thing's really got to go. The handoff is when I say, our Kevin Gallagher joins us now from Coursey Boulevard, you know. And
400 more dead since yesterday.
Yeah, and they send these people out the door that they'd better find something that makes everybody upset, angry, scared. That's their mission. Not just tell me what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know how many more times somebody can do a wash your hands, don't touch your face story.
True.
I get that.
What's the old saying in news? If it bleeds, it leads. This does not necessarily mean someone has to die, but the expression is whatever is the most sensational story is probably going to be top of the newscast and get the most attention. When I worked in radio news, we used to call it sexy, that the story wasn't, sometimes we would decide not to do a story because it wasn't sexy enough. It wasn't going to make people listening to the radio news go, what? Prick up your ears, listen. Because frankly, some things are just, they're news. It's facts going on. It affects people, but it's not all that interesting sometimes.
Well, but the thing is, I think the judgment call on what is interesting is being made outside of the sensibilities of the general public. Now I will tell you who I think has done a very good job of keeping it between the white lines during all of this is Greg Merriweather. Mm-hmm. At WAFB.
And WAFB in general, I think.
Yeah, with the exception of they air Zurich.
But that's a gray media thing. I mean, they may have to.
Yeah. Kieran's investigative reports, Kieran Chawla, have been legitimate reports without a lot of this throwing grenades that so often happens. So Greg and Elizabeth and that bunch. I think Sylvia and Chris over at Channel 2, Chris Nakamoto. Mm-hmm. I think Chris has probably turned down more investigative ideas than he's actually covered because he's sensible enough to know that there is no there, and eventually you put your foot in that bear trap and it's hard to get it out.
Mm-hmm. I have noticed some things, and I think I spoke about this last week. I can't remember if it was last Tuesday when you were here or Thursday when you were not, but it was one of the other newscasts on one of the other channels, and they started with like 350 more dead since yesterday. That was a scary headline. Mm-hmm. Scared the hell out of me. What, 350 more dead since yesterday? But then you get 90 seconds into the story and they tell you that that's because so many more have been tested, and you're now able to say, yes, this was a COVID-19 death. Mm-hmm. Some of these deaths weren't classified yet because these people hadn't been tested. They couldn't confirm that the patient had COVID-19. So sometimes you're going to get death spikes like that, but it's not because this thing is literally killing 100 people a day. But that's certainly how it played out at the headline to lead into the news piece. It was unnecessarily sensational, in my opinion. What we need right now is not to have our asses scared to death by the people on television. We need to get a little self-assurance. That's why I'm feeling better now. We're seeing some headlines saying the curve seems to be flattening. We're getting this nationally. We're also getting this in Louisiana. Well, the curve of infection seems to be flattening.
Give me the facts, good or bad. And you don't have to be breathless when you do it. You don't have to act like your hair is on fire or like you're the only one that discovered this and you're saving us with your discovery that people are having to wash their masks at a certain medical center. Just give it to me straight.
Masks are reusable.
Yeah. Now, and again, national news is not exempt. Gayle King on CBS this morning loves to interject herself into the fabric of a story.
Yes, she does.
And a week and a half ago, one of their correspondents in Rome was exposed to COVID-19, and he was tested, and it was turned out that he had it. So he is self-isolating in Rome, and he was doing reports via Skype or Zoom or whatever. And as it happened, the healthcare authorities were coming to retest him to his home. And he allowed this tremendous invasion, he allowed them to go ahead and shoot him being retested. And Gayle King says, oh my God, that looks terribly painful. What an irresponsible thing to say. How many people that should have been tested were afraid to go get tested?
Because it's terribly painful.
Because it's terribly, now I can tell you, it's not pleasant. But that is just irresponsible.
Well, nobody ever accused Gayle King of being a genius. Time to take another quick break. When we come back, I'd like to ask you about your experience with your COVID-19 test. You mind talking about it?
No, I don't mind talking about it.
All right, more to come as Exiles TV returns on Pelican Broadcasting.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Rouge Jr., and I am a general dentist at Rouge Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Clarence Bug Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bug Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles TV returns on Pelican Broadcasting, and as we like to remind you, this program, if you're coming in late or anything, it repeats at 10 o'clock tonight. You can also stream it via YouTube. Go to Pelican Broadcasting on YouTube, and you can stream it there. And you can also stream it via the app, which is pelicansportstv.com, or look for Pelican Sports TV in the App Store. Before we went to break, Bill is back. Bill was missing from the program because there was a little scare with your temperature.
Mm-hmm.
You went and properly got yourself checked out. I'd like to, do you mind telling us, what is a COVID-19 test all about? What do they do?
Well, they actually do more than just the drive-through tests that you're seeing. So here's what happened with me. About 8 hours after last Tuesday's show, I was walking through my living room and I got hit by chills so bad I could not walk. I couldn't stay upright. I couldn't get clothing on quickly enough to get warm. And when we finally got a thermometer in my mouth, 103.6, boom.
Wow.
So I called my physician. She said, you got shortness of breath, you having difficulty breathing, you have chest pain, do you have a cough? I said, none of the above. And she said, anything else going on? And I said, well, I've had this earache that's been kind of nagging at me for a few days. She says, okay, I'm going to give you an antibiotic for that. But you got to come in and you got to do the first part of testing. So the first part of testing, again, is drive-through. You do the pulse ox, they do a general health assessment, and they're in PPE out in that circle drive-through at Our Lady of the Lake in the back. And they say, all right, we're ordering your COVID-19 test, and on me they ordered a chest x-ray, they ordered a bunch of blood work, and a flu test, 2 flu tests. And that was all the next day. So to answer your question, the COVID-19 test, and it's like a movie set. It really is. It's like a scene from Outbreak or Contagion. Everybody's in PPE. They queue you, in a line. And the first thing you see is somebody who says, do not roll down your car window. And they have another sign that says, put your ID up against the door, up against the window. So they read your ID. They have a radio. They talk to somebody a little further down, and they say, this is Mr. Profita. He has a doctor's order for this. Here's his patient ID number. It should match what you have. And you go through. And there's a little time between each test because they have fans that blow everything out from the car that was in front of you.
Blow that cloud from the previous guy.
You go in, you got 3 people all in PPE. One is talking to you. You take your window down for her or him. The other one is holding the sterile container that your test will go into. They never touch your test. The third is monitoring all the overall ambience. Now, for the COVID-19 test, they have a very long swab that is not on like a compressed paper stick. It's on like a flexible plastic, kind of like, remember those wires you used to get to put behind your sunglasses that were very thin? And it was kind of like that. And they tell you, we're going to go take a nasal swab, and we are going to go very, very far up into your nose. And we will do this as quickly as possible. And they ask you to lean your head back, and it's curved, and it starts to go up your nose. And it feels like it's stopping about here, right at the top of your sinuses.
Okay.
It's a little uncomfortable. It's not painful. Your natural reaction is to run away from her.
Well, you're not. Who's used to having anything shoved up their
exactly.
nose farther than to the first knuckle?
I was laughing when it was over in the stall next to me. Was one of these guys in the male compensation truck?
Yeah.
The Ford the Ford F-150 Platinum with everything on it, and and it's got a bar that comes with it and all that. And it's kind of a penile compensation vehicle.
Gotcha.
And he was screaming like they were ripping off his nails with a pair of pliers. Seriously.
Big tough redneck dude.
I did notice. She said, "How are you doing?" And I noticed my voice changed a lot. I said, "Pretty good." And it's funny because every taste and sensation in my mouth changed when she got to the top. And then it was over.
How long did it take for taste sensation to come back?
About 5 seconds.
Oh, so it wasn't like a lasting thing where like...
Yeah, but again, because they're going so deeply, they don't just swab you, boom. It takes a while for that to get up there. You have to be patient, you know, and it I don't think I'd like to do it every day. And then they sent me over to the hospital, and they said, "Did you have your COVID test?" I said, "Yeah," and put a mask on, because we don't want you sneezing or coughing because somebody's just been digging in your nose.
Right.
And everybody there, you could see in the crinkles of their eyes that they were smiling. They were trying to make you comfortable. They were all very, very nice. They introduced themselves by first name. And they did my x-ray, and they had a small little room for me to sit in by myself until it was time to go to the laboratory. And they did my blood. And again, everybody greeted by name and all that. And then the tech says, "Okay, got to go in your nose again." I'm like, "What?" And she said, "Yeah, this is for the flu. We're going to do one in each nostril." And they only went to about here. And it was a piece of cake.
Compared to.
But I have to tell you, these people, particularly during the COVID, they're outside. You know, they're working in the heat. And they're all PPE'd up, which makes you very, very hot. Wear a mask for an hour and see how hot that makes your face. And the lady who took care of me was a master's degree leveled nurse. And she saw on my paperwork that the next day was my birthday. And she said, "Baby."
And happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. She said, "Baby, I'm praying for you to have a negative result as your best birthday present ever." And it was so sweet and so kind. And I will remember that. I will remember what I saw of her face, which is about this much, for the rest of my life. But
am I in Iran? But just seeing little eyeballs peeking out.
But the bottom line is, they are trying so very hard to make people comfortable in a time of crisis. And let me tell you what, you have never seen an emptier parking lot at Our Lady of the Lake. And I would assume be the same with Oxnard and Baton Rouge General, because nobody can come to visit.
Right.
You can't have people come for to supply medical equipment or take inventory. You know, they're doing it all hands off, and they're separating everybody out. Like, they have a giant laboratory because it's a giant hospital. They had it separated so well that the only person I came within 10 feet of that wasn't a technologist or a healthcare person was the person who was cleaning behind all of us. You could see other patients in their own little tiny rooms that they had spread out all over this laboratory. So the bottom line is, they are doing their very, very best to get patients tested, treated, keep them comfortable, and keep contamination from happening. And the COVID-19 test is, if your doctor tells you need it, don't let the idea of what the test entails keep you from doing it. It ain't that big a deal.
And don't let Gail King freaking out on the air.
Well, and you know, Mr. Platinum Truck screaming like they were pulling out his fingernails.
I had a strong hunch you were going to be fine. I said as much on this program the other day, but I still was worried about you.
Well, thank you. I was worried too. And you know what I was worried about? I was worried about testing positive and giving it to Karen and to you, and I don't care about Marty that much. No, to Marty.
Oh, come on.
I was really, really worried about that. I called all the people that were on the show with us on Tuesday and said, "Look, here's what's going on. I'll let you know as soon as I know." But I'm glad it came out as it did. More to come in hour 2.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Exiles from what you ask? Exiled from the radio. But now, we're on your television.
I'm Bill Profita, he's Kevin Gallagher, and they kicked us to the curb.
But we're back.
We are back with Exiles Television on the Pelican Broadcasting Network. We're going to bring you the newsmakers. We're also going to take your calls and give you great information. It's going to be the best damn radio show on television.
Look for it on your cable system or download the app, PelicanSportsTV.com.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
It's Exiles TV, Hour 2. This is Hour 2. If you wanted Hour 1, you're an hour late. Sorry if that was a little peremptory, but there it is.
Well, you can watch Hour 1 again tonight at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. You can, and by the way, it will also go up on YouTube as soon as the program's over. Jonathan, our engineer, will make his best efforts to get it up on YouTube. And then once it's up on YouTube, I'll share it with you on the Morning Exiles page on Facebook.
There you go. No man left behind.
No need to miss a minute of it. Not a minute of it.
Miss a minute, you miss a lot. Coming up in this hour, food banks all over the nation now with stay-at-home orders in almost every place. Kids out of school, no federal feeding programs for children. Food banks are having a very difficult time keeping up with things. The Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, which is one of the largest in the nation, because it serves 10 parishes, they're starting to get tweaked a little bit. They're starting to get critical. Mike Manning, who is the president and CEO of the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, will be joining us in about 20 minutes or so, talk about their situation and what we can all do to help.
You know, there are those of us who have had an interruption of income during this health crisis, and there are those of us who fortunately have not. Salaried people, a lot of salaried people haven't been furloughed. They haven't been asked to take a cutback, and some of them here in Louisiana, and especially in the Baton Rouge area, make a pretty good living. And so when we get this discussion going, that's what I'm going to be appealing to. Is if you're one of those people with deep pockets that makes a nice living, drives a sweet car, et cetera, I'm going to be asking you to give a little more than you normally do. It's very, very important that we keep the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank afloat.
Well, and this community has, from its very inception, supported the food bank. It's just a matter of surging it forward a little bit, as they would say if they were putting up a field hospital, standing it up. A few weeks ago, they were maintaining. Now they're depleted. I mean, it's just like anything else in supply and demand.
We talked to Mike, 2 weeks ago on our podcast?
Two and a half, somewhere around there, yeah.
And at that time, it was getting low, but it was not crucial.
Not critical at that point.
But it is becoming critical now, and that's why we're going to be discussing it. And what they do, how they take the dollars that we give them and make the optimal use of those dollars. This is not I know some people worry about giving money to charities, that some charities don't make the best use of the donated funds. And I'm not going to name any charities. I don't have any opinions really in that matter. But if you're looking for somebody that really does make the best bang for the donated buck, it's got to be your food banks and your Second Harvesters and your Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank.
Now, there are some stories. You talked about people that make a good living or they have a good business here in our area. And you're probably hearing these too. I'm hearing stories of businesses that are shut down but are standing up. One of the ones I heard about recently, and I want to talk about it a little bit, is LaBerge. Now LaBerge is a big corporate entity. but they employ a lot of people here in Baton Rouge.
They do.
You know, through their banquet facilities and event facilities, as well as the casino and
Hotel
the restaurants.
staff, restaurants, 2 restaurant staffs, 3 restaurant
Three restaurants,
staffs.
yeah. Now, I found out about this. They're not making a big deal about it, but I investigated and found it officially from them. They guaranteed all their staff 100%, full and part-time, 100% of their paycheck through March 31st.
Wow.
Now, as of April 1st, they had to furlough almost everybody. But what they did is they asked their top echelon management and executives if they would, A, make a contribution, and B, take a small pay reduction, small, 20%, that's not small to anybody,
That's a big pay reduction.
until they can go back to work to supplement their employees' unemployment or whatever else they're eligible for. And you know what? In the first day from their executives, $250,000.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah. So there are businesses that are doing their best. I saw Gino Marino from Gino's in the grocery store. And I asked him how it was going. He said, well, you know, he said, a restaurant like ours, he said, we're not going to be able to make it on just takeout business. We're not that kind of a restaurant. We don't have that kind of, we're doing it. He said, but I got people that have been with me 15, 20 years, and we're making sure that they still get a paycheck.
Good for them. Gino's is one of those, Gino's is a dine-in experience. It's one of those places that you go as much for the excellent food as you do for that atmosphere.
It's kind of not the same if you take it out.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't order takeout from Gino's.
No, please order takeout from Gino's. But I read the other day about the chief executive officer of Columbia Outdoors, the outdoor outfitters. He's reduced his salary to $10,000 a year for the duration of this health crisis. His salary will return to normal when everything returns to normal in the U.S.
Yeah, so
there's more money in the budget to pay their employees.
There's a lot of people that are trying real hard. I think that's the bottom line.
Mike Manning with the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank will be our guest when we return. This is Exiles TV.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Bug Show is back, along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together, South Louisiana's talk team, and it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon, right here on the Pelican.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Welcome back to Exiles TV on this Tuesday morning. Again, there will be a replay at 10 o'clock tonight on all of these same open air and cable channels, and hope you'll join us again for the bonus round. If you'd like to join us by phone, by the way, 225-831-1029. We're talking about what it's like to stay inside and have food delivered and things like that. And Kevin, now you were an early adopter to food delivery.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's because I'm lazy. There's so many nights that I just don't feel like cooking.
But you should get loyalty points. You were an early adopter.
Yes, I've been doing business with Waiter. I've had their app on my phone for almost 3 years now.
Now,
and
yesterday,
you used to mess with me on the air.
I did. I teased
about Waiter, but I got to tell you, I'm just going to tell you this, and I am not telling you this to tell you do not use Waiter. I'm not telling you that. Use Waiter. Use anybody. Help keep the restaurants alive by getting delivery if you can. But one of the closest eateries to where we live in Shenandoah subdivision is George's on O'Neill. Well, we love the food from
Great
George's.
place for a burger.
Smoky Bourgeois. Mwah, love you, guy. So, got on Waiter, ordered a shrimp remoulade salad and a chicken club sandwich with fries. Now, we always worry about the chicken club sandwich with fries because they put them in the styrofoam clamshell, and you know what happens to French fries in a styrofoam clamshell.
They get a little soggy.
Yeah, but we're thinking it's only about 1.5 miles to our house from George's on O'Neill, so how soggy can they get? So we place the order, and the first thing I notice is Waiter's usually really good about you get an update. You get a little bing bing, hey, your order's been received. And then you get a little bing bing, your food is being cooked. Then you get a little bing bing, they'll say like, Stan has picked up your order and is on the way.
I like that, Stan.
And then you get a little, or you know, whatever.
They don't ever say like, Dewey, do they?
Well,
Dewey's got your order?
A few nights ago was Hua Chang, so it's, but, and then you even lately, with the latest update on Waiter, you get bing bing, Stan is arriving with your food. And sure as hell, you go and open your door and there's Stan in the driveway. Well, last night, it was a salad and a club sandwich. It was a quick meal fix. 45 minutes go by, and I'm starting to get concerned because I've received no update.
Ooh.
And then it gets to an hour. And so I go to the app to check for an update, and it says, your order was delivered, and it says an hour ago. It says 5:43. It's 6:43, okay? I didn't even order till 5:20. So I freak out, and I'm trying to get Waiter on the line, and meanwhile, my phone rings, and it's the driver. And the driver's like, oh, yeah, I will try to, deliver your food. And I go, well, you're not in my driveway. Where are you? Well, yeah, I'm like Supercuts. I'm like, Supercuts? Supercuts is a stylist, and they're all closed. Why would you be delivering food to Supercuts? Well, I just followed, the GPS, like everything's a question. So I tell the guy, I said, look, you're in the wrong place. I live, and I give him my address. I live in Shenandoah subdivision on Sharpsburg Avenue. I give him the street number and tell him, come on. Meantime, I've started a text conversation with customer service at Waiter, and they're like, we don't know where the guy is. He's already told us, he's signified to us he's already delivered your food, which is a huge no-no. All right, fast forward, and the girl at Waiter is telling me I've been on the phone with him. He should be in your neighborhood. I get another phone call from him. Can't find your house. I'm on your street. So I describe my house. So my house has green siding and some red brick. There are 2 red Mazdas in the carport. Does that help? And he says, yeah, do you have house numbers? Yeah, my house numbers are 8 inches high. Okay. So I said, I'm going to go out and stand on the front porch. this white car goes by, and I'm thinking it's probably him. Drives by my house not once, not twice, 3 times. And he's doing like, my neighborhood is 25 miles an hour. Like most neighborhoods in this town, it's 25 miles an hour. I think that's parish-wide. He's doing 30, maybe 35, maybe even 40 miles an hour up and down my street. It's like, dude, how could you possibly see a house number at the speed that you're traveling? He drove by 3 times and didn't see me waving my hands like it's like I'm on a desert island and it's the only ship on the horizon. Okay? So finally, he just, on like pass number 3, he parks in front of the house 2 houses down. So I step out into the driveway and go, yo, Ace! Over here! So he, comes around again, and then he starts asking me what I ordered. It's like, at this point, I don't care what's in the bag. Just bring me the food. So I posted about this on Facebook last night. And I may be ending my length of business with waiter, I'm not sure, but one of my Facebook friends is all scoldy with me. What? Times are tough and this guy may have been having a bad night and you shouldn't be mean to him. He took my food and went 7.5 miles in the wrong direction.
Over 45 minutes.
It was, from the time I ordered to the time the food arrived, it was 1 hour and 25 minutes.
This person scolded you for being upset?
Yeah, one of my Facebook friends that I used to work with at our old employer scolded me because I had the mendacity to get upset because the waiter driver was having a bad night.
And this is your problem, why?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I told waiter, I said, look, your people are making you look bad. I told the waiter help lady, I said, this is your time to shine. This is your time to be everybody's heroes. Yet you're hiring a guy who is mental deficient. It's the dumbest white boy I've ever seen in my life. I mean, seriously, he's a big guy. It's amazing his brain could generate enough electricity to walk him around.
Jeez.
But
don't hold back. Tell me how you really feel.
But as I said, you're hiring people that are going to hurt you. Your people are making you look bad. They're letting you down.
What about the former coworker? I assume it's coworker of both of ours.
I just deleted the whole thread from my Facebook page.
Why would this person take you to task? Or is this a symbol of what's really wrong with America? That if you want people to do their jobs properly and you haul them up short on it, you're the bad guy,
Yeah,
you're
if
the
I
problem?
complain about bad service, I'm a bad guy. Is that the way it is? Look, I know times are tough, but you still deserve good service. Am I wrong?
Well, don't take the job if you can't do the job and do it well.
Quick break. We're going to be right back. I promise.
Maybe.
I'm going down.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Rouge Jr., and I am a general dentist at Rouge Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Gallagher High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello. Hola. 你好.
Experience what the Baton Rouge International School can offer your children. Now welcoming displaced students for short and long-term stability.
Hello, guys. It's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Manda Fine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Manda Fine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Manda Fine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what, oh, wait, gotta run, gotta go, bye.
From appetizers, pasta dishes, and entrees, La Contea takes pride in preparing all the Italian cuisine we know you love. Enjoy live music every Thursday through Saturday from 6 to 9, happy hour weekdays from 3 to 6, and brunch on Sundays from 11 to 2, as well as dinner portion-sized lunch specials for under $10. Visit our website to view our menu and book a party or meeting in our large banquet room. Once you try La Contea, your Italian dining will change forever.
Welcome back to Exiles TV, Hour 2. I'm Kevin, he's Bill, and we have a special guest joining us right here in the studio. We've been talking about this leading up to this. So joining us now, please welcome Mike Manning, the director of the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Well, we hear things, and we heard that we are getting to a critical position for the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. You are the only food bank, or the primary food bank, I should say, for a 10-parish area. And it's very, very difficult when your demand peaks like it has with this virus, with kids not getting their school lunches and things like that. So give us an idea of your situation right now.
Well, it's really an unusual situation for us. You know, it's not something we're used to. When you start looking at the weather that we've had, the heat, other things, on top of the fact that the grocery stores are being emptied on a regular basis, with people staying home, they're not eating out at restaurants like they have in the past. So all the groceries are going home. Mm-hmm. They're not in the grocery stores, so there's no donations for us from grocery stores. And that's one of our usual main sources, is that retail grocery store donation process. And then on top, we're not able to buy food. It's hard for us to get any food on the market because the grocers are buying it all up and they're using it. So it's a situation where we have increased demand and we have decreased supply. So it's going to be just a matter of time before we potentially run out of food.
So a big infusion of cash will help, but you're still going to be challenged with being able to buy the product.
Right. We're going to be having to pay higher prices for food, and we're also having to pay higher costs with our distributions, with overtime, with a little something for our employees because they're facing this and essentially on the front lines, just like other first responders are. So it's really important for us to be able to continue to raise money so that we can weather this and get through this, and as things calm down, we can have money to buy the food going forward.
Well, but again, if there's nothing in the supply chain that you can buy, this may be one of those rare occasions where ask everybody to go in their pantry and grab 5 or 6 bags of beans and canned goods and get them to you, as opposed to the $10.
Well, we're looking at it differently because we want them to have that food so that they don't have to go buy it. That way they're not going out to the grocery store as much. They're using what they already have to reduce the potential of this expanding or continuing to grow. And it also would help take the pressure off the grocery stores to have more food available. If their process slows and they don't have these constant pulses of people shopping, it potentially frees up food for us to be able to get in the system.
Now, a lot of grocers, mine in particular, gives me an option currently. They've had the things where you can buy the bag, which is for you. When they're doing the $1, $3, $5 thing that where you pay with your credit card, that's also you, right? Is that going directly?
I don't know which store you're talking about.
This is Albertsons.
It could be. A lot of times it is, but it really just depends on what the specifics of their program is. And right now, we aren't really worried about that because we're so focused on getting food out and getting food in. The basics.
What can we all do to help keep you afloat?
Monetary donations will help us be able to buy food. We may be paying premiums of what we used to just because it's not available. It's a supply and demand issue. And it's really going to be key for us to be able to continue to buy food because even once we get through this, it's going to take time for everything to catch up. So, it's going to be a while before restaurants are going to be back at the pace they were. It's going to be different. It's going to have to be. What about the casinos? What about hotels? All the things that are big for Louisiana travel, et cetera, are not going to be happening and coming back anytime soon. So we really need to start thinking about how much longer this is going to take for us to be able to get through this and get to where we are recovering and where we're really starting to get back to the way things were.
Are there any stockpiles that can be tapped? For example, LSU probably has a lot of stores for their cafeterias that is just sitting right now. And some of it is perishable, but I'm sure much of it is dry goods. Is the government stockpile opening up? Are there any places that the public can help you search to get some food supply in?
Well, we're exploring all options. We're talking to FEMA, Congressman Graves, Senator Cassidy, Senator Kennedy have really been at the forefront. Even Congressman Richmond has been helping us with the USDA and FEMA, trying to raise awareness of the situation and what we're looking at as we go forward. But there are regulatory restrictions on what they can and can't do depending on what the president declares. So we're dealing with those types of restrictions. You do have the Production Act that the president initiated that could potentially help this, but we don't know if there's enough in the chain for them to produce significantly more vegetables or other things at this time. For example, we're not in rice season.
No.
And rice has been in big demand. So it's we're at planting season for rice. We're finishing crawfish season. So it's the timing of things also that is making it a little more difficult.
Well, and up north, they're worried if they are going to miss their window to plant their corn and wheat crops because they can't get the migrant workers, the H-2B workers, into the country to plant, their crops. This is a very, very complicated situation, to say the least.
Yeah, and it's going to be complicated for a period of time till we try to figure it all out. But there's no clear answers. There are no easy solutions. We've just got to weather this and get through it. And our hope is that we can get enough food so we don't get a situation where we have people with no money because they haven't gotten it from the governmental programs yet, and they have no food. Well, that creates a potential public safety issue when you have no money and no food and you have to feed people. What are you going to do?
When you've been doing this for a while and this isn't your first rodeo, when you saw that this was going to go pandemic, did you fear that this is exactly where you'd be?
I don't think we thought we'd be as bad as we are. I think we thought there were more resources. We didn't anticipate the grocery side to go so dramatically and significantly out of control.
The grocery hoarding is I think a little unreasonable from a lot of us.
Well, but it's also now it's the supply chain, because everything used to be just in time. Okay, and now you have these big pulses, and they have to be able to send multiple trucks. And grocery stores are waiting for trucks to arrive before they can have stuff to put on the shelves, and people are taking it out of the delivery.
I've seen
crates.
People raid pallets, before
Exactly.
it can even be priced
so
and processed.
It's one of those situations of, what are you going to do? I mean, it's the fact that people are not eating out. They're buying food. They're cooking at home. The grocery business is phenomenal right now.
How many more people have gotten into your service queue over the last 4 weeks?
That's the hard number to really estimate. If you just look at the two larger casinos in Baton Rouge, you're talking about, basically 1,200 families right there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And they're out of work, just like everybody may say, well, the casinos have money, but the individual employees don't.
You don't work, you don't get paid.
Exactly. And, we are an hourly-based economy, and a lot of people aren't getting their hours, so they aren't getting paid. And a lot of small organizations, small businesses can't afford to pay people in the interim. That's why all the governmental programs are great, but there's a gap between now and when that money will start really coming in and be freeing up, especially for, the unemployment changes, the $1,000, checks that potentially are coming. They're down the road. They're not now.
Mike, compare your current situation with, say, a post-2016 flood or a post-hurricane environment for the food bank.
The difference is the food supply. For example, Katrina, we would empty our warehouse when we were in the old warehouse. We would empty it, and then we'd refill it, and we'd have stuff in the aisles, and then we'd empty it. And it was just the constant pulse, but there was resupply. That's what we're not seeing right now. We're not seeing the resupply because it's not just us. It's not a hurricane where it's just Louisiana. It's the entire country. And it's a problem. It's spreading all across the Gulf Coast. It's spreading everywhere. And it's because of that, it's creating a national situation, a national problem.
Well, and, I would think, transportation adds to the competitive environment. We may have Trapeze and Blue Runner, canning good, non-perishable canned goods that people want to eat very close to us. So we probably get a little better treatment from them in terms of delivery. But we don't have Green Giant and Birdseye and Heinz. They're thousands of miles away. And if there are people in other communities like ours that need food that are only
every community
45 miles away.
Every community's like ours.
Exactly. And the transportation is an issue also because the costs of that are going up dramatically just because of the demand and the problems they're facing on the roads from the standpoint of, where are they going to be able to stop and get fuel? Where are they going to be able to stop and take a rest? Where are they going to be able to get a shower? Where are all the things that they need to do going to be addressed while they're trying to drive?
You should mention I have a friend who's a long-haul trucker, and he says that he recently went 5 days without being able to shower on the road because the truck stops are curtailing what they allow people to do.
It's challenging the entire system from a food perspective, from a grocery perspective, from everything that works through the food chain is really challenged in this.
Mike, we have got a break coming up. During the break, we're going to get a super put up on the screen of a website where people can get information about helping you. And we'll put that up. But also, we're going to run through a couple scenarios for you, and I think also for other food banks. While our signal, goes from west of Lafayette all the way to the Mississippi border, there are food banks in the Florida parishes and in Lafayette that I'm sure are experiencing the same kind of things that you are. Stick around on Exiles TV. We are talking with Mike Manning, who is the president and the CEO of the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. They serve 10 parishes here around the capital area, and they are getting to some dire straits, and we assume that their colleagues in other food banks are getting pretty close too. So we'll have a little more for you right after we take a break on the Pelican. Stick around.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent.
Depend on us for service, for selection, for price.
Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Balello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. taste the feeling.
That's right, the Clarence Buggs Show is back. Along with the Exiles, Bill Profita and Kevin Gallagher. We've put the band back together. South Louisiana's talk team. And it's only on the Pelican. 10 a.m. till 12 noon right here on the Pelican.
For total home pest control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvant.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, welcome back. It's Exiles TV on Pelican Broadcasting. If you're just joining us, we're having a conversation with Mike Manning. He is the president and CEO of the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, which serves 11 parishes in and around the capital region and needs your help. The food bank, there is no doubt the services they have rendered after floods and hurricanes and other natural disasters, plus just the people that need assistance just to eat on a daily basis, that they step up, they take care of the need. Now they have a need, and it's time for us to act accordingly.
Mike, let's run through a couple of scenarios. If, in fact, we flatten the curve enough to where people can go back to work in relatively large part at the end of this month, is it going to be cutting it close, or are you still going to be under the bubble on that?
We're still going to be under a lot of pressure, and it's a function of how quickly can you come back. What does coming back look like? We have such a large service industry function. We have so many retail people that are out of business, small businesses that are struggling. Will they be able to come back? And if so, are there going to be limitations on how they come back? Limiting the number of workers, limiting the number of hours, all those things. So, we're in this uncharted territory of not knowing what to expect. It's sort of like we're anticipating it. We're trying to prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Because if we don't prepare for the worst and prepare for the best, we'll end up with the worst. It's sort of like if you don't bring your umbrella in the house, in wherever you are with you, you leave it in the car, it's going to rain.
Yeah.
Now, during the social distancing, are you still accepting drop-offs? Because we had viewers call during the commercial break and said, can we drop off our surplus groceries?
We've been trying to avoid that because of we don't know where those groceries have been. We don't know who's bringing them. We don't know the condition of that person. If, others in the household have been sick. So it's, we're trying to limit that as much as we can to what we already have in place.
It's understandable.
We will take it. But it adds a lot of process to us because we have to sanitize it and everything before we can do anything with it. Exactly. And now, all our people are wearing, they all have masks and they all have gloves. They don't wear the masks all the time in the warehouse because we all know each other and we're keeping social distancing. But when we're out in the field, everybody's got their masks and gloves on.
Now, you are still having some food drives. There was one in my neighborhood day before yesterday or yesterday, I can't remember which. But I would imagine you're going to do as many of these as you can with your staff to try to bring in some additional food supplies that way.
Yeah, we're not going to do it because we don't have time. We're too busy working with the National Guard to pack boxes and do distributions and to continue to support our agencies. Not all of our agencies have closed. A large number of them have, but not all of them. So we still have to run our warehouse to support our regular agencies who are doing regular distributions, as well as these massive distributions. Like today we're in Point Copee Parish doing a massive distribution because that agency's closed and there's nobody else in Point Copee Parish other than our agency that's up there.
So if for example, and I say their name because I know them to be a generous group and they've just had some tragedy lately, if Broadmoor United Methodist wants to have a food drive,
Broadmoor Church,
they're going to have to do that and then arrange to get it to you because you just can't leave the packing and distributing right now with what you've got.
We're doing what we can with retail donations just because of the volume there. But as far as going and doing pickups for food drives and stuff, we really can't fit that into the schedule with trying to do two distributions a day. And even though we have the force multiplier, thank God, of the Louisiana National Guard, we still need to do all the pieces and support them to get them to do what we need them to do and have it ready for them to be able to distribute, have it packed and all those sorts of things.
Percentage. How many more people are you feeding by percentage than you were 45 days ago?
I would, it's hard to give you an estimate, but it could be to the point of almost double.
Wow.
When you start looking at the numbers,
I didn't see that coming.
Well, the number of people who are unemployed, the number of people who don't have money to go to the grocery store, all those people who are hourly workers don't have a paycheck. Did they have groceries in the house? Do they have groceries in the house? What do they do once those groceries are gone? And that's the, the potential is it could be double. We don't know. We're starting to see the numbers of unemployment applications. We're starting to see the number of SNAP applications, and we're seeing numbers that are in the over 100,000 in Louisiana.
I hate to say this because we've been asking this question as a general population in the United States to healthcare. We've been saying, what happens when your hospital runs out of ventilators? What happens when you run out of food?
We quit distributing food. It's that simple. If we don't have food,
you're just forced to say, sorry, we can't help you.
We'll do whatever we can with whatever we have. The problem is some of the product that we do have is perishable. So we have to balance that with, we can't really take more perishable because we've got perishable. We're trying to get the non-perishable stuff that we can get and use and give to people that can use it over a period of time. We can do a pulse, but it's going to be short-lived from a standpoint of what we have in protein and fruits and things. They have short and limited lives. So, we do it. What's next?
When we're talking about some of those staples that you can, beans and rice, Dave Ramsey jokes aside, beans and rice and beans, but beans is a source of protein, and
right.
if you're strapped, it's a way to go. But when you're dealing with beans, are you talking about canned beans mostly, or do you have just raw whole beans?
Dried beans.
Well, we have dry beans. We have we're seeing shipments coming in of split peas. A lot of people in Louisiana don't know how to, but a lot of people in Louisiana don't know how to cook it, how to do it. Chickpeas, we're seeing those types of products are available, but people here don't understand how to use them and don't know how to cook them.
But they're convenience canned goods that, when they're available, are very inexpensive. I mean, you can get a nice big old can of Chef Boyardee pasta and meatballs that the kids will absolutely love, and it will fill their bellies for about $1.19.
Well, and you mentioned Blue Runner beans.
Yeah.
You give me Blue Runner beans and some white rice, and I'm set up.
Yeah. But I mean, for people whose situation is so extreme that they're even watching, their utility usage, there's a lot of this stuff that you can just pour it into a pot and boom, it's ready.
Yep.
But the thing is, the supply has to be there.
Right.
And I never imagined that the supply chain would be so damaged by this.
I don't think anybody anticipated this. I don't think anybody foresaw this as what would happen with shelter in place and other orders like that, totally changing what's going on in our economy.
So until shelter in place is over, until social distancing is over, which the soonest it's going to be is May 1st, as far as we know, your supply chain is going to be crippled up until that point.
Well, we don't know that for sure. We have to see how the major first pulse and the major drain that's happened, how it continues on as we get a week in, 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in. There was a major rush at the beginning because everybody was going to shelter in place, so let's go stock up, and we're going to go home. We have to see if that's going to continue, and does the supply chain catch up with the grocery store demand.
Now, you had mentioned that your costs are higher. Do you see yourself getting into a bidding war with other food banks and other places?
Potentially.
They're willing to pay more for the goods than you, so they get the stuff?
Well, that's one of the concerns is, how do we take care of each other? And New Orleans is in a worse situation than we are, just because they're hit so much more intensely than we are, and it's so much more dramatic for them. But we've got real, it's a national issue. And then if we're going to go bidding against some of these very successful, extremely well-funded food banks, we may not win.
That's the problem. I have heard 3 United States governors so far say, look, if you're manufacturing ventilators, we'll pay top dollar, we'll pay over market. And they said, I've got to protect the people of my state in my hospitals. Yeah. And they're saying this about things like N95 masks and all that. I can only imagine what's going to happen when everybody has the same situation you do, where we got a bid on food for a food bank. It has become a commodity. You want to talk about run the price up real high, real fast.
Well, and the problems with just-in-time inventory and other things have created some of this. So the processors have minimized their productions to where there's no waste, and just out of necessity to be successful and profitable. So for them to be able to change from that immediately and start doing other things and producing significantly more is a challenge.
Well, and again, a lot of these, particularly with the canned goods, these are multiple line brands that are manufactured in all kinds of different facilities, and just getting that coordinated. And also, are some of these facilities changing their production lines and switching over to hand soap and dishwasher soap and things like that on 20% of their production that used to be with a canned food item?
I don't think that's happening, because you could go look at the stores and they don't have that product either.
Well, that's true. They're out of that as well. We're going to wrap up with Mike Manning, President and CEO of the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, after our last break of the program. This is Exiles TV. Thanks for joining us.
For Total Home Pest Control, who are you going to call?
Call the Bug Man, 923-BUGS.
For total pest control for your home or business, call the original Salvat.
Call the Bug Man today, 923-BUGS.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Rouge Jr., and I am a general dentist at Rouge Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Gallagher High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Clarence Bugg Show. Yeah, I'm back on the air. That's right, 10 a.m. until 12 noon, Monday and Wednesday, and we replay it Monday and Wednesday nights, 10 p.m. to midnight. Check us out online. You can watch it live at PelicanSportsTV.com, or better yet, why don't you just download the Pelican Broadcasting app? That way you can take it with you anywhere you go. That's right, the Clarence Bugg Show. Tell you what. Oh, wait, gotta run. Gotta go. Bye.
Welcome back. Final segment of Exiles TV. If you want to join us by phone, 225-831-1029. And, of course, the replay tonight at 10 p.m. on these very same cable stations or Uverse stations. We are continuing our discussion with Mike Manning, President and CEO of the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. And he's talking about how food banks like his are running out of supply. That it's hard to get food in, even though their demand has, in some cases, doubled. And it's a scary proposition. We have so many people now that are hourly workers that need the support of food banks because they're not getting any of this enhanced unemployment benefit yet.
Exactly.
It's still in the paperwork stage.
It's all a timing issue. And it's going to be a timing issue until they start seeing that relief on the back end. But what do we do? And how do we help people in the interim? There is no easy answer other than for us as the food banks to step up and fill the void.
Well, and as we mentioned in an earlier segment, right now the food bank, it used to be that $1 could become $10 in food, but that buying power isn't there right now because the supply chain is dried up. And so Mike and his cohorts at other food banks are having to pay more for the food that they do get shipped in.
Well, and with the additional problems of some of the processing plants, especially the protein processing plants being closed because they've got somebody in the workforce that has the virus, that they have to shut it down and make sure it's clean and sanitized so that they can come back online. So that's going to exacerbate problems and make it even worse from the standpoint of your different types of proteins.
Well, on the screen right now, you see Mike's name and you also see the URL. This is our best bet right now, is to go ahead and make a contribution, a monetary contribution online, so that if they do have to, and that time is very close, if they have to outbid somebody else for raw food supply, they have cash available to do that. I long for the days when we can have Mike on and talk about how, they can turn $1 into 10. We've got it kind of upside down right now, so they're going to need financial support more than anything else. And bear in mind, they are so busy, even though they've got the National Guard helping them here in Baton Rouge at the warehouse, they are distributing food with the help of the National Guard, packing it to 11 parishes, and they're distributing more food than they ever have because of the increased demand. So if you want to donate some canned goods and things like that, that's very nice, but it's going to take them a while to process that because they're too busy distributing the food that they've got right now.
Yeah, it's not like they presume you have cooties, but then again, they have to do that. So if you give them food, if you donate them food, somebody's going to have to take the time to wipe it down, disinfect it, and make sure that it's not carrying anything. So money. Let's go with money right now.
And to your point, the last thing we want to do is provide something that's got some contamination, a virus still alive on it, to someone who doesn't need anything from the standpoint of a potential problem when they're already struggling with potential hunger.
Well, I mean, I know you've always, even before this crisis, you had very, very strict protocols in place for taking food in and checking for its wholesomeness, its sanitation, and things like that. And you just don't have the people to do it now, even though you've got help from the LNG, because you're getting out everything you can as quickly as you can.
Yeah, they're packing and distributing, and our volunteer numbers are significantly down because shelter in place. Even though we are essential, and our volunteers are considered essential, the problem is getting people to come out and be willing to take that risk and come help us.
And people have. I think we finally gotten to a healthy fear. There's a reason they only let these drive-through COVID testing places work for a limited number of time. It's sooner or later you get a multiplication of your exposure. And I would assume it's the same thing, people volunteering for you or anybody else. They're like, okay, Mike, I used to come 5 days a week and stay for a couple hours. I'm going to come 3 days a week now. I don't like rolling the dice quite this much.
And we don't have PPE to provide for volunteers. We ask them whatever they
Bring
can
their own.
do because we can't get it just like everybody else.
It's all part of the overall picture, folks. But again, remember that Mike and his crew, and they raise money and they raise food donations from you all year round. They are feeding people in 11 parishes. And the current situation is their demand may be very close to doubling. So if you can help them by going to the URL that you saw on your screen and making a donation, now would be the time. And Mike, we're going to try to stay in touch and check in with you as we get a little further down the road.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. A lot of nonprofits are not active right now because of the limitations, but we're on the front lines. We're out there. We're working with the Guard. We're working with the mayor president. We're working with the governor. We're working with anybody that can help us and that we can help, because that's what we do. We do it on a daily basis, every day. So this is nothing different for us. It's just a bigger demand and higher throughput.
Well, we certainly wish you well, and we appreciate not just what you're doing during this, but what you do 365 days a year. How long you been there now?
16 years.
16 years.
God bless you.
Yep, and you're not even showing much in the way of signs of wear, which is good.
Thank you. I'll take that.
Remember, it's brfoodbank.org right there on your screen, brfoodbank.org. You can set them up with one payment. You can set them up with a payment every month if you've got a little something in the budget. And I'm calling personally, those of you who make six figures, who are not hard up during this time, step up. That's all I'm asking.
Please.
Step up.
Do a little something. On our show on Thursday, Dr. Bo Clark, the coroner, has started a database of what complications to coronavirus have caused death in our area under his jurisdiction. We're going to talk about that and the overall picture of the morbidity and mortality of COVID-19. Until that time, be well, stay safe, and stay home, please.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.